the Industrial Maintenance channel. Today we're going to be discussing how to use a flowchart to troubleshoot a 3-wire start-stop circuit. The start-stop circuit consists of a normal 3-wire start-stop as noted in this print. Okay, so we're going to start the flowchart in troubleshooting. So as stated before, the oval is where we start at or end at. So we're going to start here. So the first thing we have to do is a step. So push start button. Next thing we have to do is a decision. Does motor start? Yes or no? In this case, we're going to say yes. Now, does motor run when start button is released? Yes or no? Another decision. In this case, we're going to say yes. So a step, push start button, stop button. We have another decision to make. Does motor stop? We're still going to say yes, and now we're at the end of a properly working circuit. So now we'll go over here and we'll work out some of these no's. So back up to the oval beginning, start, push start button. Does motor start? In this case, we're going to say no. So now you have another step. Check voltage from wire 1 to 2. So down here on the print, from wire 1 to 2. 1's going to be your source voltage, 2 is going to be a common or some type of neutral. So whatever your source voltage is, do you have it between 1 and 2? Now we have a decision. Let's say no. Now, the step after the decision for no is check fuses and breakers, go back to start. So basically we're going to fix whatever problem is the reason why we do not have source voltage, and then go back up to the start oval. So let's go back here. Let's say, yes, we do have voltage there now. Check voltage between wires 3 and 2. So now we're going to step over and check voltage on wire 3 to 2. And we're testing the stop button to make sure it's closed. So now we have a decision. Do we have voltage? Let's say we don't. Okay. Let's say we don't have voltage on wire 3 to 2. So now it says check continuity of stop button and go back to start. So now So after we check continuity of the stop button, we would isolate the stop button and check the button itself, continuity between it. Once we figured out that problem, then we go back up to yes or start. So let's say we do have voltage between wires 3 and 2. So next it's going to have us push in the start button and check voltages between wires 4 and 2. So now we've stepped over the start and we're checking here to here. So when we push in the start button, we have 1 meter lead here and 1 there, and we're reading from 4 to 2. Now we have a decision. Do you have voltage? Let's say we do. We have voltage here when that start button is pushed in. Now it says check starter coil and overloads for continuity, go back to start. So at this point, we would isolate wire 4 and wire 2. And we would check continuity of this circuit between here and here. We're checking the coil and overloads at the same time. You could have an open overload. You could have a open coil. Anywhere in this circuit is where we're testing. So now let's say we found the problem and we fixed it. So now in this section, if we don't have voltage on wires 4 and 2, Now we're going to check the continuity of the start button. So we would isolate the start button and check continuity between it. If that problem's found, we fix it, and then we go back up to start. So the next step on this decision up here for a no, does motor run when start button is released? So when we push the start button in, contactor comes on. When we release the start button, does it shut off? So does motor run when start button is released? If the answer is no, next we go to check continuity of the seal-in contacts, go back to start. So these seal-in contacts are auxiliary contacts off of this relay. Whenever this energizes, these close. So at this point, these are not mimicking the relay. So what we have to do is isolate the relay from voltage, push in the relay, and check continuity of those contacts. If they're open, we have to remedy that problem to go to the next step. So back up here, push stop button, does motor stop? So now we're over here. We've started, coil runs just fine. Now we push the stop button in, and let's say the motor does not stop. So now we have an issue with the stop button opening up correctly. So check continuity of stop button and go back to start. So at this point, you would isolate the stop button, check continuity of it or the circuit around it, remedy that problem, and go back up to start.